Pass the Florida Real Estate Exam, Part 5 of 20. Real Estate Brokerage Activities and Procedures, 12%. I'm Getchin Sharer with HomesNet Realty, and I thank you for watching. And if this is your first time on this channel, please consider subscribing and click on the bell to be notified when I post new videos. In this episode of Let's Talk Real Estate, I will go over 20 questions, multiple choice questions, designed to help you pass the Florida Real Estate Exam. Let's get right into it. Number 1, a trade name must be registered with the blank, blank, blank at the Department of State. The answer is Division of Corporations. A trade name must be registered with the Division of Corporations at the Department of State. That is the state of Florida. That is, when you are registering a corporation or an LLC, it must be registered, as well as a limited partnership. They all must be registered with the State Department of Florida. Number 2, a sales associate can be a stockholder in a brokerage corporation, but may not be a blank or blank. Well, a sales associate can be a stockholder in a brokerage corporation, but a sales associate cannot be an officer or a director. And the reason because of that is, if you can imagine a stockholder, basically you can own shares of a brokerage corporation, but you cannot be an officer or director, because the officer and director are the responsible parties who run the day-to-day operation of the brokerage. And given that a sales associate does not have the requisite qualifications or experience, therefore they cannot be officers and directors. Number 3, a real estate brokerage corporation must have at least blank active broker serving as in blank. Well, the answer is a real estate brokerage must have at least one active broker serving as an officer. So a corporation, unlike an LLC that has members, partnership have partners, general partnership have general partners, limited partnerships have a general partner and a limited partnership. While corporations, they have officers and directors. So here, a real estate brokerage corporation must have at least one responsible broker. So one active broker serving as an officer. So number 4, anyone, whether licensed or not, can be a blank, blank in a real estate brokerage limited partnership. Well, again, anyone, whether they have a license or not, can be a limited partner in a brokerage limited partnership. Think of it this way. This is the more commonly known term. It is referred to as silent partner. So a silent partner is a person who invests money in a partnership, but has nothing to do with the day-to-day running of the operation. So therefore, anyone, whether they're licensed, whether they're a sales associate or broker associate, can be a limited partner in a limited partnership real estate brokerage firm. Number 5, 2 or more brokers who share office space but do not maintain their separate status as independent brokers could be charged as being blank, blank. Well, the term is ostensible partnership. While the law requires that every brokerage maintain an office space, but it doesn't say that each office must be in a specific space or an independent space or a separate space. So therefore, it's likely that 2 brokers may share an office space. However, those 2 brokers must post their individual signs at the entrance or nearby, so the public can identify that it is not a partnership. So if they fail to provide notice to the public that they are separate and independent brokers, well, if something happens,
they both can be charged as partnership. So ostensible partnership is not a real partnership. It's one that the court will implied because they failed to give the public notice. Number 6, without specific authorization, it is a violation for a sales associate to accept which of the following as a deposit. Well, we understand a sales associate or buyer, for example, can deposit a post-dated check. However, prior to accepting that post-dated check, the sales associate or broker associate must receive authorization from the seller. The seller must authorize the acceptance of a post-dated check. Well, a post-dated check is simply writing a check today, but putting a date other than today, a date that is in the future. So that would be considered a post-dated check. Number 7, what type of advertising would a broker most likely use to sell a duplex? Well, we understand that there are 2 types of advertising. You have specific advertisement and you have institutional advertising. Well, institutional is when you are promoting a particular brand, a name recognition, name brand. You are creating an image, you are creating your brand. Whereas specific, you are selling a specific product. So if a person is selling a duplex and they're advertising that specific duplex, well, that would be a specific advertisement or advertising. Number 8, a sales associate is selling his or her own property. What information would be required in the broker's advertisement? Well, you understand whenever any real estate professional is advertising his or her own property, they don't have to necessarily advertise that they are a licensed real estate licensee, but every advertisement must contain the name of the brokerage firm. So that is the one thing that's required on all advertising, regardless of who's advertising it. If that person is a licensee who is associated with a brokerage firm, a real estate brokerage firm, the name of the brokerage must be on all advertising. Keep in mind, we are working under the brokerage name. Number 9, which business structure holds title to land in its own name? Well, that would be a partnership. A partnership would hold title in the partnership's name. Number 10, the buyer and seller agree to a contract to post date the deposit check. Which statement is correct? Well, again, the sales associate should immediately give that check to his or her broker. Now, the law specified immediately. The law says whenever a sales associate or broker associate receives any money from a customer, a client, a buyer, well, they must turn over that check or that money, anything of value, to the brokerage immediately, to their broker. So immediately, the law has to identify what immediately means. Well, immediately in that case means by the end of the following business day, by the end of the next business day. And the logic behind that is, if you're a sales associate or broker associate, the law presumes that you are in the field, you are out and about showing properties, and you may receive a check after office hours, after your brokerage has closed for the day, in which case you may hold on to that check until the following day, where you would see your broker at the office, and you must turn over that check to that broker by the end of the next business day. Number 11, if a broker changes his or her business address, what change will be made to the license status for all the sales associate employed by that broker? Well, the answer is there will be no change, and their license will remain in force as long as the business address change is reported to the department, which is DBPR, within 10 days. Number 12, all of the following statements relate to the role of the sales associate are correct, except. So here they're asking you, they're giving you a set of roles that a sales associate will play, and they are correct except for one. Well, here you have 4 answer choices, 3 of which are accurate, but 1 is inaccurate. That's the one you are looking for, the one that's incorrect. So here the answer would be C. A sales associate can be employed by the general public to perform real estate activities. Well, that is not true. While A is correct, a sales associate may only be employed by one broker at a time. B is also correct. A sales associate may only be compensated by their employing broker or owner developer. And D is also correct. A sales associate may only perform real estate activities that are authorized by their employer. Whereas C is incorrect because a sales associate cannot be employed by the general public to perform real estate activities, because a sales associate is working under the authorization, under the umbrella of the brokerage. So the sales associate, even though that's the person who negotiate a contract, an employment contract with a particular buyer or seller, the sales associate is not the one being employed. The sales associate is working for the brokerage. That buyer or seller is in essence hiring the brokerage, not the individual sales associate or broker associate. So therefore, that is the except question. That is the incorrect answer. That is the incorrect answer. Number 13, which type of business relationship must be in writing? A corporation or a limited partnership must be registered with the State Department of Florida, the Department of State of Florida. And the reason behind that, the logic behind that is the corporation, whether it's a LLC, which is a company, limited liability company, or corporation, or limited partnership, must register with the state. And the corporation provides, if you're operating your business, your corporation, according to the state of Florida's law, the laws of Florida, then you will be afforded what's called the corporate veil. Number 14, a real estate broker asks his sales associate to commit an illegal act. What should the sales associate do? Well, pretty simple. No one can order you to perform an illegal act, not even the broker. So therefore, the individual must comply, must refuse to comply, and of course, they must find a new brokerage. In other words, withdraw from that relationship. So if a broker asks you to do something illegal, you should not. You should refuse to comply, and you should withdraw from that relationship and find you a more honest and reputable broker. Number 15, a licensed sales associate receives a cash deposit from a buyer on a parcel of land. Before the sales associate can give the deposit to the broker, the sales associate loses the deposit. Who is responsible? Well, in this case, both the broker and the sales associate would be responsible. Although the sales associate is an independent contractor, but remember, in life, you can delegate authority, but you can never delegate responsibility. And since the sales associate is an associate of the brokerage, well, the broker will be liable as well. Number 16, in a partnership, each partner does not necessarily have which of the following? Well, the answer, again, remember, read the word does not. So in this case, in a partnership, each partner does not necessarily have to have equal shares of the profit of the partnership. Here, all they're basically alluding to is, let's say, three people decide to join to create a partnership. Well, they don't have to each put 33.33%. One could put 75%, another can put 10%, and the third one can put 15%. So therefore, they don't have to have equal shares of profit in the partnership. Number 17, what must be included in real estate ads and on signs, real estate brokerage signs? Well, this is very important. The law requires that the name of the brokerage be reflected on all ads as well as the sign. But the sign also requires the name of the responsible broker, the active broker, and their license status to be on that sign as well. Number 18, when a buyer withdraws an offer prior to it being accepted by the seller, what should the broker do? Well, very simple. If a buyer withdraws an offer, so an offer that has not been accepted can be withdrawn by the person who made the offer. In other words, the offerer, the buyer is the offerer. They're making an offer. Before the offeree accepts it, they can withdraw the offer. In that case, if the broker is holding the deposit, they must give that back to the buyer. Number 19, which action by a broker is an example of commingling? Well, here, if you remember the term commingling is simply when a brokerage or any trustee mixes or combine his or her money with that of a third party or of the person whose money they're holding. So if a broker mixes or places his own money, his own personal funds, or his business money with clients' money, that is referred to as commingling, and that is a fraudulent and illegal act under the laws of Florida. Number 20, Sue Douglas wishes to open a real estate brokerage corporation, Sunshine Realty, Inc. When ordering her sign, she is required to include all of the following items except. So this is an except question. So if Sue, who is a real estate broker, wishes to open up a brokerage corporation, well, her sign not only must have Sunshine Realty, Inc., but it must also include Sue Douglas, and it must also state her license status, licensed real estate broker. So A, B, C, all are correct. However, the law does not require Sue to put her phone number or her email or any contact number on the sign. The sign needs to have the brokerage name, the broker, the responsible broker's name, and that individual's license status, meaning licensed real estate broker. And that is the 20 questions. And again, please don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, and like. And remember, I post every Tuesday and Thursday, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. So until next time, have a blessed and productive day.